If you haven't posted in a year and now you're trying to post to all the platforms, that could be a huge trap. I love for now stuff. If you never do for now, then you get stuck of going another year without making content, right? You can provide a real value to business owners and also help grow your company at the same time. Oh my goodness, there he is. How you doing, Orlando?
Not bad. Yourself?
I'm great, man. So Orlando's part of Movement Makers, and as part of that, we're doing IG Live together. So what's on your mind, man? How can I help?
Yeah, so literally about a year ago, right? I started with Movement Makers, and you inspired me to get a video out that day, and I did. And that's the only video I got on YouTube. It's that one video. So I think the theme of this one-on-one is getting started again. So kind of hit reset button. I have an intern this summer. And what we're doing right now is we're taking a lot of the interviews that I've taken, or the video I already have. So I've done interviews with different hosts and different shows and different programs. And we're going through that and editing it for the purpose of publishing it or repurposing it. Funny enough, I saw your comment recently when you're doing a live Ask Me Anything. And you mentioned, making smaller pieces of that long piece is not going to do much for you. I was like, oh, darn. But it's where I'm at right now, right? So I have something, we can edit it, we can start publishing it. The idea was taking that long piece of content, publishing on LinkedIn, and then having smaller pieces to post on, formatted correctly and cut well for the consumption on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and maybe even TikTok. So that's what we're going to try to do. Five different platforms. Go long first and then repurpose for each of those other platforms in a way that, for example, on Instagram, daily post, to get it out there. That's where I'm at right now. That's what we're doing. But you can comment on that if you like, to kind of talk about where I'm at and what's your thoughts on that. But I also like in this call to cover some practical things, kind of getting started again of like, okay, let's just do step 1, step 2, step 3, break it down for me again and say, look, ideally, if I were you, Orlando, this is how I want you to take action. This is the first thing through whatever, step 5, whatever it is, and go. Like more of a approach thing.
Cool. So to start, cutting up the videos for micro content to the other platforms is great.
Okay.
For YouTube, not so much. You can do it for YouTube Shorts, which is a relatively new feature, so you can do that. But for YouTube loves long form video, so it won't work as well for regular YouTube content. But definitely cutting it up for the other platforms makes a ton of sense.
By the way, since I have no lead magnet or anything else, the call to action would be simply to bolster the YouTube channel and have people watch the full version of it in the YouTube channel. That's the best thing I can come up with right now, since I don't have more content or a lead magnet.
Great. So you use it for now. I love for now stuff, right? Like, because otherwise, if you never do for now, then you get stuck of going another year without making content, right?
Right.
So for now is fine. Just it's for now, and we're gonna get better, and we're gonna keep. So having a lead magnet will be important for the business, right? And that's ultimately what we're gonna drive people to. But for now, yeah, momentum. Like that's what's really missing. So to give you like a practical plan you can stick to, what prevented you from making more content in the past year?
Yeah, there's at every stage of getting something out the door, I was stuck. So for example, on the theme of what to talk about, there was that problem. And some of the quick answers is, hey, throughout the day, someone asked me a question. Then take that and just make an answer and put it out. Problem is, if I'm looking for an ideal 10 minutes or more in content for, again, starting with YouTube first and then repurposing out, it just takes a little bit more work in my mind with, okay, how do I fill that out? Because I like to give succinct answers, obviously, to a real person who doesn't want to sit there for 10 minutes with one question. Then I got to go through the formula. Then again, the next thing happens. Okay, so what's the formula? Let me break it down. Let me come up with my my shocking kind of statement. My hey, let me stop you in the tracks. Thought leader lead, and then go through and fill out each of those. It just is like pretty hard, I think, for me. The next thing is I was thinking, okay, well, in order to do that, maybe I need to do some research. And I go down the rabbit hole of like, okay, maybe some data, maybe some, it's like then done
Yeah.
and nothing happens.
So what's missing is the for now,
Okay. So
right?
just do a 2 minute answer, put it up or whatever
Yeah,
lands,
for
just
now.
slap that sucker up. Okay.
Like a 2 minute answer, once a week is better than nothing for a year.
Yeah.
So this is our for now, because like anything else, as you get more practice, as you get more into it, it becomes easier, and then you're ready to take the next step. If you're trying to learn, like if you're trying to learn English, you start with some common words and some basic, grammar structure. Because if you threw them the entire dictionary to memorize, they're not going to get it. It's just too difficult.
Right.
So you layer things on as you go. So worrying about the perfect research topic or having the powerful opinion and all like it becomes overwhelming. I know you don't do anything. And this isn't just Orlando, this is everybody. So so it's fine. So it's creating the same mindset of for now, like you're doing on the other platforms. Because if you haven't posted, here's the concern. If you haven't posted in a year, I'm less concerned about like reigniting the audience or what are people going to think. Like forget about that. It's just more, if you haven't posted in a year and now you're trying to post to all the platforms, that could be a huge trap because it becomes overwhelming to have to post everywhere and maintain that system, right? So if you have somebody helping you, amazing. But the most important thing is we need to get some consistent content going out. You were doing business brokering?
Yep. Yep. So I'm a business. So Aspira is the brand, and we have a business brokerage buying and selling privately held businesses, 20 million below. So we do Main Street, low middle market kind of M&A or intermediary work. And then we also have the real estate brokerage, which the broker of record on that company, which is a separate company under the brand. And that's commercial, residential, mostly investment stuff. And of course, they complement each other because a lot of business owners also own the real estate. They need advice on, all that kind of stuff. And then the third is advisory. That's, partly personally investing and having investment partners sign up, whatever, LPs, just there's, or fee services, including what's the valuation of the business. Okay, here's a fee for telling you what your most probable sales prices of your business in today's market, things like that. So those are three major divisions of Aspira.
So if somebody's trying to sell their business, I mean, you've done it so many times, but for a lot of people, it's their first time. They have a lot of questions before they just sign up with you and go through the process, right?
Yep.
So what's a common question that they would ask?
Yeah. So if I could take that, what you're saying, and take it as a theme. So I think as a whole bracket of questions, you're first saying, look, come up with things that will help with the flow of my business. So onboarding a business owner, first of all, even answering prospects questions, so frequently asked questions. And then maybe even asking that other category of should ask questions, the things they even think about asking, that kind of lead into that. And then even with buyers, right? So buyers looking at businesses for sale, we of course respond to them. That might be another category.
You're coming up with a whole bunch of video ideas now for your channel, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think big picture, more systemically, so I can just kind of like break it down and just get to it. But yeah, so in terms of the business owners looking to sell their business, the three major categories, again, just kind of high level is my business sellable? How much can my business sell for? And what's the process look like? So every time I consult with a person who's looking to sell their business, that's how I set the agenda for the call. I said, "There's anything else?" They say, "Nope, that covers everything I need to know," and we just jump right in.
Okay, so if somebody's going to come into your office and say, "Hey, first off, you already have now these are all video topics." So your whole like researching, that's what you talk about. Is my business sellable? How long does the process take? How much can I get from my business? These are all videos. Where are people going to learn how to do this?
Yeah.
Right? They're like, there's nobody. They're going to learn from you. They're going to learn from your videos. So if you take a question like that, so now we already have a list of ideas that you can make content on. Like those are the easiest kinds of videos to make because you answer those questions day in, day out, helping people.
Yep.
Somebody comes into your office and says, "Hey, Orlando, is my business sellable?" Are you just going to give a 2-minute answer for them and then say thank you and kick them out?
Actually, on that portion, without the questions I have to ask them. I try to keep that at 2-3 minutes to give them really in a nice little succinct, hey, this is what you need to understand about making a business sellable. So if you own your business, and I can go into those 2-3 minutes with you. But I stop there, and then I can, and then I have some questions for them. But I can, of course, cover those questions, leave those as perhaps some food for thought for anybody who's watching the video. And I guess I could put a third component to that. I need your help here. I'm getting a little stuck. But a third component to make it go to 10 minutes or so, whatever, 8 minutes or 6 minutes. I'm guessing I could probably add in there, something about being prepared for a call and just having this information, what you need. But that's probably about it. I'm thinking right now in terms of how to get that bigger. But so help me through this. I'm stuck on that.
Yeah. So first off, like for now, if it's a 2-minute video or 5-minute video, go. Like that's it for now. Like just get it going. To make it longer, just imagine what happens if somebody's coming into your office and wants to sell their business and doesn't know if they're big enough, how much are their fees, they just don't know the process. They've never done it before. That meeting is going to last a total of how long with you?
To cover those 3 items with the back and forth, roughly 20 minutes or so.
So they're going to come in, they're going to talk to you for 20 minutes, and they're going to leave your office.
No, most of the consults are by phone.
Like somebody's going to call you. That call, you've never met them before. They're going to say, "Hey, I want to sell my business in Orlando. I don't know the process." That call lasts 20 minutes typically.
Yeah. I mean, it can go, of course, longer if we're going to the next step and we're going further. But yeah.
So that's what the video becomes. Like it doesn't mean the video has to be 20 minutes, but you say something.
Well, that's only because you're answering questions, and it usually takes longer for them to answer questions than it is for me to kind of get my part.
Like it's the same call every time, pretty much, right? Like there's some minor differences, but you know what they're going to ask when they call you. There's the same 8 questions they lead with, and then it's the same 20 questions afterwards that you just know how to answer because it keeps coming up over and over. So when somebody's on a call with you, you give them the space to ask the question that you know they're going to ask anyway, right? Like they pick from this bag of questions, you know they're going to ask it, but you give them the space to ask it. In a video where it's just one way, there's no space for them to ask a question, right? I mean, they can leave a comment and you ask it, but what you want to do is answer the next questions for them because you already know what their follow-up questions are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the video further down the path by answering their next question. So you can still keep it to 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Okay, so is my business sellable? Well, here's what you have to think about. 3-minute answer, done. Now you may be asking whatever the next question is, right? So you already know what they're going to ask next. Just bring that into the video as if you're having a conversation, but you have to bring the questions because there's no way to interact with you while you're recording.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you have to go all the way to 20 minutes or half an hour, or if they're with you 45 minutes or whatever. But imagine doing the role play. Okay, you've just said this stuff. And this is easier for you because you've already had all these conversations. It's not like you have to imagine a fictitious conversation. You're already having this all the time with people who come and call your office. So just take the conversation further and play both sides. So you may be asking, well, how do I know if it's the right fit for me? And then you may be asking, well, how much does this cost? And how long does it take? It's like all of the questions that people will ask you each time. That's how you can make the video longer. And not just longer because of YouTube algorithm, but like more value to, like if you just answer the question in 3 minutes and then shut it down, they're left with maybe more questions than answers. Like, okay, but what about this, and this, right? Answer those questions for them on the video.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is another thing I'm getting mired into a little bit is using the smaller pieces to create bingeable content to stoke those algorithms. So is that even correct? Where basically if you can get through a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes of something and says to answer the next question or whatever to cover that topic, and then have a little card, click the next one and watch the next 2-3 minute video. And would that help as a strategy to do it that way, where they kind of watch a second video of mine on YouTube? And
it definitely works. I would just try to make every video longer. Again, for now, you go and you make it, but then try to make those 10-minute videos instead of 3-minute videos. The other way around it is to tell a story, and stories sell, and stories also help make it more It helps pass the understanding on, makes it easier for people to consume and digest. So if somebody comes and asks you, hey, how do I sell my business? You can go give your 3-minute answer. And then say, for example, I had somebody come in, and you can change, you don't say the person's name or the industry or the name of the company or whatever. Or you could do a hypothetical. Like, so for example, if you're a restaurant and you're trying to sell your business, and then you explain it through the example of the restaurant.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
Have a story or an example for everything that you're sharing. Like when you have somebody in front of you, you're probably already doing this anyway through their business. If somebody comes to you and they have an auto dealership, like, hey, Orlando, help me sell my auto dealership, you're going to tell the story through the lens of an auto dealership. Just naturally, because you're not going to tell some story of a bakery or something, right? It's an auto dealership. But when somebody's watching a video, again, you have no idea what industry they're in. So being able to give an example, for a lot of people, it's their first time and it's confusing and overwhelming. They don't know what to do next. So giving them an example can help. So, okay, so let's say you're a bakery and you're trying to sell your bake shop. Here's what we would need to know. And so you can now emphasize the points and explain the points that you just made in the first 3 minutes through the use of an example of a real client or a fake client or made up client.
Would you recommend, let's say that first video we're talking about here, it's however long, we have stories in there, so it's looking good and it's really engaging. Having those timestamps in the description so that they can go, okay, point 1 and then story example for point 1 and then like break it down like that. Is that helpful?
So I'll take this answer in like 2 ways. One way to answer the question is no, I haven't. We've done a whole bunch of testing and haven't proven that it works. A lot of people use it as a best practice, but I haven't seen any data to show that it leads to more retention on the video. In fact, often it leads to less retention because people skip ahead to the next thing. So I'm not recommending it and I'm not doing it. But the second path of that question is like, dude, it doesn't matter. Make videos, right? Like all of the questions that are basically getting in the way of making content, of having a perfect structure and format and how YouTube works when nothing is going up. So that's the like, it's good for now, and keep creating, keep posting, keep making. And then you take it through your 3 sides of the business, right? If the third one, I think you said, was business valuations. How much is my business worth?
Advisory. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not going to sell it, but you're going to evaluate their business.
Yeah. It's mostly investment advisory, as well as just the fee-based stuff. Yeah. So investment advisory includes like investing together. So maybe putting content out there. You're talking about working together on investment opportunities.
Yeah. So how to find the right opportunity? What are the main factors to look at? You have a process.
Mm-hmm.
You have your methodology. It may not be like fully written out, or maybe it is, but you have the certain questions that you ask when you're looking at making an investment. So that's another video. And then make an example. So for example, if I was looking at buying a software company, here's what I would want to look at. Right? And then maybe you throw a second example, because a software company might have a higher valuation, have a higher multiple because they're more profitable than a bakery. So for example, then if I wanted to buy a bakery, it'd be looking at these. And so in like making the examples happen, it makes it a lot more clear for people watching, and also extends the video.
So you sparked another idea, which is to do industry specific videos. So do kind of a similar thing, but really talk about florists, talk about bakers, like you said, talk about auto body shops, talk about pizzerias as a business, and then basically make a video talking about that. So pizzeria owners, this is what you're dealing with. I understand COVID did this to you. You're doing really well, but you have to understand, all that. Just really give the business owners advice to that particular market. So getting niche down in content, I guess, is that's the idea that I kind of walked away with that one.
The last comment was more if it's a more broad one, that to give a couple examples, because if you're doing multiple of earnings, however you're evaluating the business, a software company should look dramatically different than a bake shop, right? For how much the company's going to be worth and what multiple you're taking. So if you're going to give a general, like how much is my business worth, you can talk for a couple minutes on it, but then it also depends on the industry that you're in, where then you can give a couple examples. So that's a video. If you wanted to do industry specific videos, how do I evaluate a pizza shop? How do I evaluate a bake shop? How do I evaluate a car dealer? Yeah, those could all work too. Those I would try to find, I would make videos around the companies that you actually want to invest in. Like if you have no interest in buying pizza shops, then don't make pizza videos.
Yeah.
If you love software companies, then make videos about, because then we start attracting the right people in. Because ultimately your goal is not to be a huge YouTuber or influencer. Like we need more business coming in, right? You're trying to get deal flow.
Yeah.
Which is fine, which is fair. So like, let's optimize for that.
Yeah. Although I think, one thing I realized is you have to be intentional about what we're doing and visualizing where the end looks like and it helps to kind of pull you in the right direction. And so I was telling my intern today, we were just meeting and I mentioned that, look, let's act with intention of doing the best things we can do to get to 2 million subscribers on a YouTube channel. But give us the break and no pressure, knowing that we're starting from someplace. And that in video 10 or video 50, we're going to look back at video 1 and be embarrassed by it, which is, some things you mentioned many times. But I was thinking that at least I was motivated today about, look, let's make that effort as if, okay? And that just ups the standard in terms of where we're going and hopefully accelerates our iterative learning. That was my thought for today.
Yeah, I honestly wouldn't worry about upping the standard yet. Right? Again, like there's nothing on there, so we don't have to worry. There's nothing. So what are we raising the standard on, right? Like, so iterative, yes, right? So like, okay, we made our first video. It's 2 minutes. Now let's make it better for the next one. And yeah, for sure. But I think the ultimate goal would be to how can we use YouTube to grow your business and get more leads coming in and just educate people a lot more on what it takes to build a valuable company that then you can sell and what your options are afterwards, whether they end up hiring you or not. But we're putting out, that's an important topic. It's probably not a 2 million subscriber channel. Like if you're going to go, you want to hit 2 million subscribers. Now we got to dive more into mindset and habits and routines and more like hitting all of America, which maybe becomes an ambition, but you've got a real opportunity and expertise inside of what you do. And people aren't making enough content on it that you can provide a real value to business owners and also help grow your company at the same time.
Yeah.
So I would just think like, what are the questions people ask you consistently? Answer that question and then tell, even if that's your basic, you're going to give your statement and tell the story. And that's it for now. Don't worry about like all the perfect format and template and lead magnet, and we'll get there, right? For now.
Yeah.
For now is like the theme of this call. For now, we're doing it for now. You're teaching me something and then you tell me a story about it. And that becomes the content that you put out consistently that then you can bring to the other platforms as well.
Yeah. So just basically for now, I'm trying to get to 50 or 100 video posts and content and then figure out from there what to do with it.
There's a lot you could do with it afterwards, right? But like we just don't have enough Orlando content to do anything with.
Yeah.
So all of those could win hard on LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn should be huge for you.
Yeah.
For getting business. TikTok, maybe. I mean, TikTok I wouldn't concern myself with as much. But LinkedIn for sure. Even Twitter could be a good spot for you. And the same video you could post, like you just make it 45 seconds. And then you post to Twitter, you post to LinkedIn. Take little clips. But it's just getting Orlando in front of a camera and pressing record and do 10 at a time. Like you just sit there in your chair and you just make 10 videos. Because the energy it takes to like make one video, you can then go and make 5 more right after.
Right. Okay. And in terms of, everything else, I imagine I already know the answer in terms of those steps. Step 1 is coming up with some topics to record content. We covered that. And then the rest really doesn't matter, I guess. The answer is it really doesn't matter. Just record. It doesn't matter about how do you break it down. Doesn't matter how long it is. Doesn't matter about editing it. Just publish it. Just get it out there.
Yeah, honestly, the editing and the steps matter even less because you know what you're doing. Like, if you didn't know the answer to those questions, then that's a big problem, right? If somebody walks in, if the video is about how do you evaluate your business and you don't know how to evaluate a business, that's a big problem. Like, I can't help you with that one. You have to know your industry. But that's why people are watching. They're not watching you because you have fancy editing and lower thirds and music and B-roll of somebody climbing up a mountain and, like that's not why those work, but that's not why I'm watching your video. You have knowledge that's getting it out of here and into the world, and people will watch that because they want to learn. So I wouldn't be so concerned about how many steps are in each video, because just talk like you would not imagine someone's in front of you and has that question. Just talk to them like you would talk to them.
The other problem that I have in my head is I just feel like I don't want to listen to myself. Like I that's just what's in my head. Like, I don't know if I want to listen to that. So I get stuck with like, okay, is that even worth publishing? And then listen, after this call, the last call was just get that one video out, right? This call you're asking me to do is, look, just produce, I'll produce, and I'll put it out there. But I know I'm gonna have the feeling that it's all like stuff that I wouldn't even spend 20 minutes listening to, like, or 10 minutes listening to.
But it's true, you wouldn't. I don't want to spend 20 minutes watching myself either. But you already know this stuff. Like, here's the thing. People call you and they want to spend 20 minutes talking to you. You're not making a video for you. You're making a video for your audience, your customers. Like, I don't want to hear myself talk. So don't let that be the how you judge it.
Yeah.
You should not want to watch it, right? Like, this is stuff you already know. You're not learning anything. You're not learning anything, but you're teaching.
I mean, I'll take that to answer my other problem, which is, I look at it and I said, that wasn't quite well succinct. I was a little, just talking too much about it. It was just like, okay, you're boring. Like, just forget the subject matter, like the way you delivered it. But that's just a matter of just practice. That's a matter of looking at it again. Okay, now I have a better angle of coming at it, and just go. So that answers that question as well.
The answer to everything is for now.
For now, just yeah.
It's boring for now. Like, maybe it is boring, but even in your boring, it's still valuable, because who else is talking about this stuff? So it's still useful for people.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to make it more entertaining. Like, there's this guy called Law by Mike on TikTok who has like millions of freaking viewers, and he's taking law and making it interesting. But it's crazy production. Over there, it's about production. He's got these different cuts. He is giving himself a haircut. He's the police officer, and stop pulling himself over. I mean, it's hilarious. There's a lot of production into it. So I'm not sure if TikTok's just a different angle, but I really just want to entertain. I really want to make it, fun and engaging.
So you can, but for now we got to get going. It's like an entrepreneur comes to you and says, Orlando, I want to sell my business for $10 million. Cool. Where are you at now? Nothing. We got to get going, dude. Right? Like, I love it. Like, having inspiration is fantastic. Can you work towards building that 100%? And for now, you just got to get going.
Okay.
For now, this is it for now. This is it for now. And then, yes, iterate and raise your standards and keep pushing your intern or your team to do, and keep pushing yourself to do better, but not at the expense of a video not going up, right? So like every week a video has to go up. And then inside of that, let's try to make it better. But don't try to make it so good that then nothing gets created.
Right. Right. So at this point, I think for my own self, I got to remind myself, if I'm not embarrassed, and I took too long to get it out, I got to just feel embarrassed, get it out, go, and see what happens.
And this is it just for now.
Yeah. In terms of getting, with the topics we talked about, you recommend starting with creating content for the business owners looking to sell, or does it really matter? Just whatever inspires, go.
Yeah, well, like who do you want to attract? Who do you want to be picking up the phone and calling you out of your 3 divisions? I mean, it could be all 3, but who do you want to call you and then make videos targeting them? So like if you don't want bake shops to call you to sell their business, don't make content around bake shops.
I kind of want it all. And if I can, I'm also looking to recruit. So I need to create content around that too, I think. There's a lot of stuff to do. I guess I just got to get started. Just, maybe write them all out and then pick one out of a hat and just go.
You don't even, I mean, we already talked about like 4 different ideas plus in here. You think about your 3 divisions and you already had it. Like, there are these questions. Cool. Now just tack a story on the end of each one. How to evaluate my business? Great. Teach me for 3 minutes and then tell me a story. Next.
Okay. Don't worry about the rest of it. Don't worry about that intro. Don't worry about the hook.
Well, for now, we will, but like not at the expense of videos not going up.
Yeah.
Get those out for now, and then we'll worry about intro, and we'll worry about length, and we'll worry about lead magnet, and listen. After you worry about that, there's more stuff to worry about too, and then even more stuff to worry about too. You're like the startup entrepreneur is like, how am I gonna raise the venture capital to hire like the big CEO? I want to hire like the former CEO of Disney to run my company. Like, dude, you haven't started. What are you doing, right? Like you need to let's get to $10,000 in revenue first, you know, and then 100, and then 1,000,000, and then right. So all of that stuff will matter. And you could be the next doctor, whoever, lawyer guy. Awesome. Yes, that could happen. But not if you're not making content, right? So it's like the basics first, and then you build on those. Once the basics become easy, like if you can't come up with video topics yet and press record, nothing else will matter. So you get the basics down. And that might happen fast. Maybe you do like a month of those, like, wow, this is so much easier than I thought. Cool. Now we add in whatever the next level is. If it's lead magnet or longer videos or better intros or cards at the end, or right. If you had just started a year ago and kept going, we'd be having a different conversation by now. A much more advanced conversation, right? And that's not to like.
No, yeah.
This is where we're at, right? But cool. So like between now and next year, that's the difference, and then we'll be having a different conversation, and that's amazing. And it's beautiful, but it's you getting that. If whether it's like I'm going to be embarrassed and just post, cool, or you just tell yourself this is it for now, and then we're going to get better, and in a month and 2 months and 3 months we'll be better, and not have the burden of perfection, or the burden of we have to build a 2 million subscriber channel, or the burden of like making it look super entertaining yet.
Right.
You can get there. Yeah.
Okay. It's more the same. I get it.
All right. Time to make videos, Orlando.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you again.
Appreciate you, man. We'll see you soon.
Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye
Take
now.
care.
Yair's part of our Movement Makers program. As part of that, we're doing a IG Live together. So what do you got?
First, thank you very much for having like the honor to join the group. It's amazing. Also the book, love it. I wanted to ask a few questions on opening a new YouTube channel, which I'm planning to do.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Thinking over it for a long time already. But and then also I have a question I'll ask at the end. I know we're short in time, but I really appreciate it. So basically, when I open, I'm not really a technology guy now. When I open a new channel, how do I get my native language is not English, but I want to do it in English. How do I get people to my channel if I'm not like really a social media guy and I'm not in those worlds? My goal is to light people's path and give them a feeling of empowerment and belonging.
And what is the business model ultimately? Like, you want to sell coaching, or what do you ultimately?
Right now, I'm not selling coaching. In the future, maybe I'll do that. But now my goal is 100% just helping people by, I believe I'll say in 2 seconds, if you invest, it's going to be called Invest and Smile. So if you invest in 6 areas of life, your path will light and you'll smile.
I like it, dude. Okay, so but where does that go? Is that a course? Is that a book? Is that a speech? Like, where's it?
Right now, only to help people light their path. In the future, maybe I'll take it for coaching, but I'm not looking to. Yeah.
Okay. Is coaching interesting for you?
Oh, no. In the long run, I love coaching. Also now people sometimes come for me. Like if you're asking my vision, I could also see like having seminars, weekends, and like that's doing in the long run, maybe also a book. But I'm saying step by step. Right now I'm thinking about it too much for a long time because I'm thinking maybe I'm not credible enough or things like that. So first I just want to start.
Sure. Okay. So I would start down 2 parallel paths. The first is, you have your six steps to having happiness, right? So your videos are all about one of those 6 steps. So each time you make a video, it's got to touch one of those 6 steps. And in terms of making content, it could be from your own story, your own background, your like how you got there, like history stuff, like way back of who you are and where you came from. We're telling stories from our past. It could be stories from your present. You know, like how did you pick that plant behind you, and why is there like a yellow, rainbow on your wall? And like I'm assuming they're there for some reason and intention. Your thoughts coming into doing this Instagram live together. How does it touch on one of the 6 points in your happiness chart? And so there's only 6 points, right? I mean, I say the same stuff over and over and over.
Yeah, it's kind of 6 points, but if you just let me, I'll explain it. So basically, I believe that if the mind is in the middle, but if you invest in the mind, relationships, movement, activity, sleep, nutrition, and relationships, so that will light your path. So every time is going to be a different one. I'm not going to do all of them, and I don't want it to do only for my stories, because I also listen to a lot. Like I learned from you. I learned, like I'm only one person. I also want to bring from other places. But how do I get to people? Like no one knows. Like I don't want to put out tons of money in marketing before I started doing anything.
So in the content, I agree. You don't want to have a video that talks about all 6 things, unless you could have a video that explains the 6 things in general. Like here's my philosophy, but then the future videos are diving more specific on each one. But basically everything you're going to make, I have the same 10 to 20 themes that I talk about on repeat, but I have different stories that I'll use depending on what's going on. So you have your 6 themes, and you can have different stories that you talk about depending on what's going on. It doesn't only have to be about you. I'm just saying you is important because it's your framework, right? So in terms of kinds of stories to tell, it's from the past, foundation stories, but also new stuff that's coming up right now. Something's going to happen this week that can fit into one of your 6 things that you can make a video on. Then we can also make content about other people and something in the news that you see and that you like or don't like, or somebody, an experience that you had in movement makers or with a fellow movement maker, a live stream that you did with somebody else, right? That becomes a story. This is like, how do you take what's going on in the world, not just your world, but the world, and make it make sense in terms of one of the 6 areas of content. The reason why I suggested coaching, if you liked it, is you don't have to get paid at the beginning. Like if you're worried about your experience and credibility, you don't know what the answer is going to be. It doesn't have to be coaching yet. It could just be conversations. You basically walk people through the 6 steps, and wherever they're struggling the most, you have the conversation around it, which then eventually leads to more expertise, which leads to more, it could actually then become coaching, could then become something paid, could then become a book or a seminar or something else. But when you're creating content in a vacuum, meaning if it's just you talking to the camera, you don't know how well your thoughts are being received or how to adjust them. But when you're talking to somebody, look here, example, look, okay, Arcanio just wrote 6 areas. What are the 6 areas again, Yanir?
Mind, movement, relationships, nutrition, sleep, and I'm missing right now one of them. Mind, movement, relationships, sleep. I just got a blackout, but okay.
Okay, well, listen. So that if that's at the core, then that.
Financial behavior. Financial behavior
behind you.
Yeah.
So that needs to be printed somewhere so that you remember it and you can refer back to it, and you can also give it to other people. And what happened right there when they asked the question, what are the 6 areas? You don't have to be. I mean, you should know what they are. That's fine. But like, you don't have to be the expert on all those things yet. You could just talk about what you're doing and what you've seen with those things. But the more you have the conversations and the more you start helping people, the discussions can become coaching or mentoring. At the beginning, it's not, right? At the beginning, it's just going to be a conversation. But in having those conversations, like if he says, so we said those 6 areas, maybe somebody's even mind, movement, relationship, sleep, financial, and blacking out. No, that was, what was
mind,
movement, relationships, sleep,
mind,
financial,
movement, sleep, nutrition, relationships, and financial behavior.
Nutrition.
I'm used to say it in my own language. In English, it's different.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, and that's awesome. And so now he's saying thank you, right? Maybe he has a follow-up question. Maybe he says, well, what do you mean by mind? And then you explain what you mean by mind. And then maybe that leads to another question. And you don't have to have all the answers yet because it's not a paid coaching session. But it's a discussion that as people ask questions, it makes your model better. It makes the framework better. So I would be trying to do videos with people talking about different elements of that framework, right? An easy one is already within Movement Makers to do the challenge that we do every month.
I'm learning how to use Discord. Me and technology are still learning how to work with each other. I didn't have Instagram until this second. I just downloaded it because I knew I needed it for now.
There you go. Well, and you made it happen. So it's great. But I mean, that somewhere inside of mind, there's the answer. Every month in Movement Makers, there's a challenge that we do. And there's a theme. And part of that theme is then doing your own video on that topic, but then also 3 collaboration videos with other people in Movement Makers. So if the theme is going to be, confidence or consistency or resilience or whatever, right? If you take confidence as the theme, then how does confidence fit into one of those 6 things? And you have a conversation about it. And every time you talk about it, the model becomes clearer.
Yeah, for sure. No, I understand that. And I really appreciate the fact, that there's a community. I think that's amazing. I didn't think about that. And what I want to do in the future is also have interviews, because I chose those 6 steps through things I went in life, but there are people that are experts. So let's say I was in real estate. I didn't know how to take the hammer and build the wall or do drywall, but like knowing to bring the people to talk about this stuff. So I think what you said, the combination between right at the beginning talking to other people and then also bringing every time maybe an expert later on. But my first question is how do people know it all I exist? Like you're saying at the beginning, don't care about that. Like just talk to people in the community, and like how do I reach out to people?
Almost by the nature, like if people don't know who you are and you're reaching out,
and then you get then you get people to follow,
right?
Like,
yeah, sure. By making content, if it's good content, and people want more of that good content. So, I mean, Movement Makers is your easiest start. That they will go live with you. They'll get, just like now, we're going live right now. You set up your account. People are now learning about you. If they like the 6 steps, or they like you, or they want to learn more about your journey, they can now follow your account and find out more about you. Right. At the beginning, I wouldn't like the biggest thing is just momentum. It's just creating. And the more you can create with other people, the better, because it allows you to refine your thinking a little bit more. So I would do a mix of collaborations, and the challenge is only 3 people, right? Coach Queen Kelly says, I'll go live with you.
Appreciate that.
There you go. Go. Remember Coach Queen Kelly and send her a message.
I'll learn how to do that.
Right? But that's it. But you can learn that. I mean, nobody knows any of the platforms at the beginning. Yeah. You figure it out as you go. You didn't know anything about nutrition either. And you didn't know anything about finance either. You didn't know anything about the mind either. And how did you learned it, right?
Yeah.
So same thing. Instagram is you already figured it out. Look, you just created your account today. When we went live, the camera was facing backwards, and now we're here. You're already better than you were yesterday, right? That's how the learning goes. In our challenge in Movement Makers, the requirement is to do 3 people, but I would
a lot more for sure. But when you say Evan, like do a video, so when I do a video, I could put it also on my YouTube channel and also on Instagram, or you don't recommend to do it on both?
I would do both for now. Honestly, because it's just momentum. You just set up your Instagram account. You don't have a YouTube channel. It's just about getting stuff up to know what it's like to get stuff up. Like just to build it's like you're asking for the perfect workout plan and you haven't done a push-up. You're just sitting on the couch, right? And so it's in terms of movement, what's the perfect movement plan? How about you start with a walk outside, right? Like if movement's one of your things and somebody's been sitting on the couch their entire life and they want a movement plan, you're asking like, what's the perfect movement? To just go for a walk in the sun outside, man. Like that's what we need. And then we'll figure out, it's not just the strategy. It's like, what do you like doing? So as you start talking to people and doing collaborations or doing interviews, if you message people, say, hey, I'd love to interview you, talking about real estate or talking about nutrition or talking about movement or talking about whatever. You just message them. Like Instagram has
just people from the community.
Feature. You just message them, and not whoever you want. Some people in the community, some people random. Like the more you can make it personal, it's just like imagine you're sending an email to somebody. Do you only send email to people who you already know? No, you can reach out to other people too. You can even email, like use email instead of Instagram as the outreach and say, I want to do an interview with you. And people might ignore you and people won't see it. And some people will see it and say, yeah, let's do something.
So you're saying to do a combination of me talking sometimes and some videos also combined with other people? Like sometimes it'll be only me and sometimes other people. And if I understand correctly, you're saying that the first video, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the first video should be like an introduction of what's the goal of this channel?
Doesn't have to be. Just make a first video. Like the first video should be, hey guys, I've been sitting on making videos for a long time and I'm working on my relationship with technology, but I know I want to serve. So I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Here we go. Post, right? Like, and go. Like there's no, it doesn't like release perfect. It doesn't matter what you do in your first video. Ali Paz says you can interview me if you want. I'm a movement specialist with yoga. Ali Paz. Reach out to Ali Paz. ALYPAWS. There you go. You got another one, right? It's like you start. And here's the thing: as you do more, the reason why I suggest talking to people is because it starts to crystallize the thinking, and it allows you to make better decisions going forward. Like when you say movement, there's so many. Just look at movement as an example. There's so many things you could do, right? Do you salsa dance? Do you go trampolining? Do you go skiing? Do you go to a gym? Do you join a running club? Like, and there's no right answer. There's a right answer for you, but there's no like one right answer for everybody. And how do you find it? Like, don't worry about getting to become a professional salsa dancer yet. Get off the couch and go for a walk, right? And like we start to build the practice in. And so in talking to people, what you'll find is maybe you want to do more of those kinds of people and those topics. Maybe you talk to Ali Paz and talk about yoga, and now you like fall in love with yoga and you want to do a lot more with yoga, and you create a weekly series talking yoga, doing yoga, and it becomes like a big thing for you. Or that was one and done, and like you don't want to do any more yoga. Like by doing it, you start to learn if you liked it. And by doing the stuff that you like, then we can worry about the right strategy afterwards.
No, I understand that, and I do appreciate that. You know what's funny, Evan? When people come to me, it's really like it's easy for me to tell them, listen, I think you should do A, B, C, D. But then when it comes to me, I'm like, you know what? So that's kind of funny. Like I realized that a few times. I want to ask you a question about two last questions because I know I realize the time. One is anyway, like I know you always offer hope to other people. Like I would love to know what's the way I'll say I can help you as a person. That's number one. And number two, you talk about the book always about belief, and belief is 3 different types of belief. But my question is, Evan, how do you help someone believe in himself when he's in rock bottom? Because when someone's running outside and having fun or dancing salsa with movement, so that's fun. But when someone's all the way down, like how do you help him believe in himself? Usually, people in that place won't want even to listen. Like, I hope I was clear.
Yeah. So you're not going to get somebody to go off and then join a salsa class. Like they're really down. It's honestly be there with them. Like if they're really, I think you have to be, if you're at a ground level, then you're ready to grow. But if you're underground, then you just have to get back to ground level. This is how I think about it. So there's the achievers who need to push, and it's like they need the honest feedback to say, let's go, like build this. And yes, it's belief, positivity, but more like push, you got to go. Where somebody who is below ground right now, they don't need advice, because the advice is only coming off as judgment. If you tell somebody who's at rock bottom that they should go and pick up a salsa class to get moving, it's love from you, but it's being interpreted as judgment.
Judgment from them.
Tell me what I need to do. Yeah, they feel it as it's internalized as judgment, even though it's love coming from you. Your advice is judgment. It feels as judgment, even though it's not. Like you're giving love, but it comes across to them as judgment because they can't hear anything. If somebody's already at ground level, ready to grow, and it's like, hey man, how do I grow? I'm like, I really need to boost my movement. And you're going to say, go do this. They're ready for the message. But somebody who's on the ground just needs to get back to ground level. And so it's sitting with them and listening to them and just being with them and letting them feel heard, and don't give them any advice, because you might be the first person to even ever listen to them. And they might tell you things that they've never told their spouse or their parents or their other family members. It's just creating a space for them you need to unburden yourself from all of the weight that's on you before you can start to run. And so I wouldn't even worry about what to say to them. Don't use your mouth, use your ears. Listen to them. Give them a space to be heard. And then you're waiting for them to ask for help. Like giving somebody help.
That doesn't help in any way.
It's judgment. They'll feel worse because they feel like now you're another person who's judging them. So if they're actually at rock bottom, you're just sitting there and listening to them and being with them and helping them not feel
Doesn't
alone.
someone in rock bottom want you, not, of course not always, but sometimes like to throw the rope that he'll need help, or throwing the rope is basically listening and having empathy, or not empathy? I'm not sure. I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, like throwing the rope isn't the advice you're going to give. Throwing the rope, again, is just sitting with them.
Okay.
Just listening, allowing them to be heard. That's what they need the most, because everybody in their life is judging them and telling them what they should do, and they feel like a piece of garbage. That's what they're telling themselves. And that person you can't go and start dancing with and doing a run with. So it's just being there. And if you're the only person who is around them, who is not judging them and not telling them what they need to do, and actually just hearing them, then what ends up happening is they say, hey, what do you think I should do?
Yeah.
And then you tell them. But you're opening windows, you have to wait for them to go to the window, right? Or open the door, they have to go through the door before you can actually help them. And that's like, here's the problem. It feels like it's not enough. For the achievers, when you can see them, you see this huge potential in somebody and you want to help them build and grow. It feels like it's not enough, that listening alone is not enough. But it's a tremendous step. It's the exact thing that they need, and it's more than enough. And if you can just focus on, like, you're judging the size of the step. You want them to take a giant leap. For them, just like an inch forward is a giant leap. We're judging the size of the step. And so that first step is just listening.
Listening is amazing.
And then in terms of, I know we're kind of up on time, but you were asking, how can you support me in the belief? And I appreciate the spirit of that message. When a coach gives you advice, the best thing you can do for the coach is to follow the advice. So that's the highest form of, like, if you're going to help somebody with their movement and then they go off and they actually start moving and they write back to you in 3 months and say, dude, like, I did it and look at me now. That's the best form of thank you or gratitude, more than buying your book or whatever else, right? So more than buying anything I'm making, the best way to say thank you or help me is to do it. Like, start your YouTube channel, contact Ali Paz and do the yoga interview together. Get things like that's the, and you know it from the other side, right? When people say, hey, you helped me, and they did the advice, that's why we do what we do. It's the greatest feeling of all time. Yeah. That's the best way to pay back a mentor, more than buying their book or course or whatever else.
Okay, consider this is done. Perfect, appreciate it.
I love it, dude. And you're already, you're already doing it. You did it here, right? You said yes to this. Like, I've never done Instagram Live before. I don't even have an Instagram account. Your picture is like a beach or something. I don't know what's on there.
I went for a run. The beach was amazing.
But it's great. And you did it, and you're here, and you took the first step, right? And that's the most, for movement, that's the most important thing, is the first step. Now it's used that, once you're in motion, it's easier to stay in motion. So Coach Queen Kelly and Ali
Got
Paz
it.
and everybody else, like reach out and start it going. And that's like the greatest thing is for you in 3 months to say, look at all, here's everybody that I interviewed and look at my channel and look at where it began. That's the greatest
Amazing.
thing.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Evan. Thanks.
Samar's been, she's part of Movement Makers, one of our members, adding tons of value and tons of love, tons of fun. And as part of that, we're doing this IG Live together. So, you know, how can I help? What's going on? What's in your mind?
Okay.
What do you need some perspective?
Maybe we need
or
like
advice on?
3 days together. So we but I can start with 20 minutes. That sounds good. Okay, Evan, you believe that each one has this power inside them, right? And from your belief, you send a huge energy, literally huge energy out there. And this energy got me to you. This is how I met you. Okay? This is how I came to you, because your energy literally is out there calling me. And I'm here. So out of the belief and the paradigms and the all kinds of, and the mindset and all of that, which one do you start with as to help someone who has no idea that he has any power in them? Or like I'm talking about regular people like myself. Before becoming an entrepreneur, I had no idea that I have this power. I have clueless. I'm just a mom. I spent 20 years with my kids at home, just serving on a small circle. Okay, I did not know that I have the power to serve on a bigger level. But I had to make the steps, and I worked on myself to do that. Now I'm calling all people out there who had the same situation, and I'm telling them, come and I'll show you that there is a better way to live. There is a way to change your life. Okay? So here we go. Where do I start? Where do I start, Evan?
First of all, like, it's just adjusting the mindset for where you're at, right? Like, there was a lot of I am just a in there, right? I'm just a mom. I'm just a, where it's like, that's amazing. There's a lot of lessons that you already have, that you've learned, that you've grown from, that now you can teach and serve. And, you know, you've helped your kids grow and learn and taught them a ton of lessons. And now it's like, now how can we be that influence for other people and be the mom for the world? So first step is just trying to catch any of those limiting thoughts. Anytime you hear yourself saying, I'm just, switch it out to say, hey, well, I'm ready to do more now. That's who I have been. And now I'm ready to do more, and I'm ready to grow. Next is every time that you, like, the job becomes really about you just getting better and learning and improving. And what you said about me was very kind at the beginning. I put out a massive energy, and you got attracted to that energy, right? This is something I was talking to. I'm here at TDS. I'm at my dance studio. So I own this. I'll show you.
Wow.
This is my dance studio. We're the largest dance studio in
oh my God, I would
we're
love
for salsa
to do
dancing
salsa.
in
Oh my God.
Canada. We got to how to dance.
Hey, Alex.
Alex here helps me run it.
Hey, happy Tuesday. Mwah.
He's in Movement Makers too. And listen, Alex and I were just having this conversation of like planning and how to play a bigger game and how to grow. And a lot of it just came down to Alex getting better. It's the same thing for you. It's like every time you learn and you improve and you get better and you learn something new, then it increases the energy with which you show up. And then people will find you. You become the magnet. And every time you learn something new, you bring other people. Right? I don't know if you talked about this, but they're like the staircase of growth. Every time you step on the growth, you're pulling somebody up with you to learn. But you know, if you're at step 3, you can only help people who are at step 1 and 2. And when you get to step 100, you can help people who are step 1 to 99. And so the goal becomes to continue to get better and to continue to improve your own energy and your own self-worth and your own efforts. And in that, you will attract people who see themselves in your story and feel like, you know, if Samar can do it, maybe I can too. For all of the moms out there who are saying, I'm just a mom, if Samar could become an entrepreneur and start her business and have success,
maybe I can too. Maybe it's possible for me too. And the more that you tap into that and believe and create with that spirit and that energy, the more you'll start attracting people who are ready to take the next step with you too.
Absolutely. I have this, and this is what kept me going. I was like, a year ago, exactly like today, a year ago, I did not have half of the success that I have today. Because like, you start working and on the mindset one day, on the mindset, or like for a while. And then I say, okay, now I have to do my paradigm. I have to work on that area. Then, I keep going. So I look at myself. I'm like, oh, I came way along the way. I mean, from a year ago. But all the time, I think maybe this is holding me back for sure. That's how can and I hear it probably all the time. People reach out to me that I cannot do what you're doing now. I cannot be out there on social media. I'm scared. It's fears comes in. So the people are not moving forward. Like people, my target people, the people I'd love to help the most, they have so much holding them back. So
yeah, this is why it's so important to share your story. Because if people look at you now, or people look at me now, they'll say, well, I could never do that. I could never be, they don't believe that I'm shy. They don't believe I'm introverted. They don't believe, and then I try to share as much as I can, as often as I can, in sharing the story or in showing the growth of my YouTube channel and how many subscribers I had after every year and how long it took to grow, because so many people are ahead of where I'm at already after their first year. Like a lot of people are ahead of me in year 1 and me in year 5 or year 7. And they feel like they're failing. It's like, failing? It took me 7 years to get there. Are you kidding me? You're so far ahead. It becomes a job to show behind the curtains and tell your story and where you've come from. Because if you're talking about, just being a mom and the growth that you've had, people, moms won't connect to me as much as they will to you, because I'm not a mom, right? I mean, I have a son, so I'm a father, I'm a parent, I understand that, but I don't have the same thoughts or same issues or same insecurities that you had, that other moms are going through, where they'll love to hear from you. It's not like they won't like to hear from me, but you can connect with them on a much deeper level because you know exactly what they're going through.
Yeah, and I know that you always talk about YouTube, and you pushed me already to post 2 new YouTube videos, and I'm doing this challenge to be done with 8 more. I mean, this is huge for me.
You've got what's Tuesday? You've got 2 days to get 8 videos out. Let's go, Samar. Okay, but so listen, this is a great example, because if you were to share how you felt about making the video, I'm sure in your head there might have been, oh, I don't know how to make a YouTube video. Who's going to watch it? How's my hair? What's my message going to be? How can I get 10 videos done in a week? Any of the, like, whatever the voices were that were in your head, even if something like this, like going live with me on Instagram, maybe you were scared, maybe you had insecurities, maybe you thought, hopefully I would cancel. I used to think that all the time, like, I hope they cancel on me so I don't have to show up because I might embarrass myself. Like, whatever the negative thoughts, that you've grown a lot compared to where you were, and there's still limiting beliefs and there's still negative thoughts, but the difference now is you try to catch them and you try to show up for them. So just because you are afraid to make 10 videos in a week and post them on YouTube, but letting people know what your fears were, maybe you've never done YouTube before, maybe, all of the issues that are going on in your head that maybe 2 years ago or 5 years ago, you would have said, oh, so I can't do it because I don't know these things, versus Samar in 2022 is going to say, okay, I'm afraid.
Yes.
Let's go. Yes. We're going to do it. and it's that vulnerability that will attract people to you, because on the surface, what they might only see is your videos, and you look confident, you look like you know what you're talking about, and it looks easy. And you don't, there are two camps, okay? There's the people who make it look easy and there's a lot of fake underneath it. And that's how they sell, is like, hey, this is going to be really easy, follow my system and tools. And that's how they get people in. I'm not as big a fan of that. I like to show, hey, I still struggle. I'm still insecure. I still doubt myself all the time. And those are not good enough reasons. And so I'm still going to show up. And that's what connects people to you. So you can still use that on an everyday basis, not only share the story of where you came from, but hey guys, hey mothers, hey ladies, today I was worried, today I was nervous, today I was scared to do this Instagram live, and I still did it, and it went great. And here's how I show up, because I don't want fear to be a good enough reason for me to stop. And that's the thing that then connects people to you and gives them hope, because you now represent, you become a hero to them, that because you had the courage to do it. Even if I don't know you, I've never met you, but in how you show up and your smile, your authenticity and the vulnerability, and you sharing that piece that made you worried, makes me have a little bit of hope that, you know, maybe, just maybe, I can do it too.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. You know, when I first met Evan on YouTube, he always talked about how he believes in new entrepreneurs, startup entrepreneurs. And that was me. You talk to me all the time. Everything you talk to me, you exactly know how my brain works, literally. Okay? So, and you said you love entrepreneurs. And to me, got me curious. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and check out myself. Really? Are you the man who really cares? I come in, I see this guy with the huge energy everywhere, movement makers, he loves everybody, everybody loves him. The second week, and you show up with this crazy idea, let's make videos. I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this guy?
That's such a crazy
Who is this
idea.
guy? I mean,
it was so much work.
I mean, it's not expected. It's beyond expectation to me. And this is what I said about your energy, because that was what I was looking for. Literally, I was looking to my next step, and I did not know where to go. I started my new book. I'm looking to start a speaking career, and I want to make YouTube videos, but where to go? I mean, where is the start? And here you go, Evan. You got my energy, you got in my head, and you said to me, okay, go ahead. This is your challenge, do it. That's how powerful is that. That's how yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah. So, I mean, thank you. It means a lot that we all want to wake up and feel like what we do matters, even to one person. And you're showing up with amazing energy and care and kindness and you know, doing the work. And I think everybody has the same level of care and compassion. Is like, you have it too. If I'm special, then everybody's special, right? Like, everybody has the desire to serve and help and care, and you may not get energy from the same thing. You know, for some people, doing an Instagram live or making videos is depleting of energy and is the worst thing of all time. But they get energy from doing something else. And we all want to feel like we're doing something that's touching somebody else's life. And if you can ever tap into that, you know, if you want to help the mothers of the world, you know, it becomes this giant mission to go on. You know, this, how many mothers are there out there? You know, billions. And it sometimes may feel like it's too big and there's too many and you're not good enough and you can't reach that many people. And I get that all the time. Like, if I'm trying to solve the world's biggest problem, it's too big a problem for me to do. And so in those moments, it's, well, I can help one person. You know, I can help one person. And if there's one person that you've helped with a piece of content or an email or a message to them that just lets you have a little bit more momentum that day and the next day and carrying to the next week, I think that's what we all want. And the challenge has been crazy.
It's so crazy. Unbelievable.
One of the things that I've learned that took me a while to get, and you know, I love that you're so fast on things, is as soon as I got an idea, I would instantly judge it. You know, I would say, oh, I'm not good enough, or I need this to figure out, or I need to get that camera or that gear. It's like you start going into planning and instantly, not even telling your friends and they judge it. It's like I would judge the idea myself of how bad an idea it was or how much I wasn't ready to do that idea. And as a result, I stayed on the couch, kind of just not doing enough action, where now I've just learned to bypass it to say, hey, great ideas flow through me. If I get an idea, I want to do something on it, at least to give it a shot, because you won't know by thinking about it. You have to go off and do it. And so the challenge is one of those things where I was going on my walk in the morning and I just thought of this idea. And for everybody who doesn't know, I had this idea for a month-long challenge. It was a lot of work of helping guide people through creating good titles for their videos, powerful opinions for their videos, and then recording 10 videos. And every day was
free.
Like,
you're doing this for free, basically, for us. And this is amazing. Literally, this is like, I would pay like literally thousands of dollars to have that. It's really powerful. You have no idea the effect on me as a person, as everything in my business, in my life, that I got what I want. This is the path for me, and I got it. And this is huge for me. You have no idea.
Well, I mean, and that's why we do it, right? I mean, just trust the ideas that come to you. And here's a great point. I mean, it's worked out super well. In my head, I wanted 5 people to go and do it with, and something like 40 people completed the first round. And that was me going back and forth and back and forth. And I'm not doing it again in this format because it's crazy, right? It's too crazy to do it. Like, it's not sustainable to do it in this format. I might do it a round 2 in a different format, but you learn by doing, and it's been a great experience. And it's been a lot of work for you and people who contributed, as well as for me, to look at everything that's going on. And my team, you know, now here's a new thing we have to keep track of and work on that they weren't ready for, because I had some idea to pop into my head. And we'll get a better round 2 when I do it again because of what we learned through round 1. But it doesn't make the idea a bad idea. Like, the idea came to you. It's of service to others. Go and try it instead of judging it and thinking about it and all of the things that come into it. Just go and try a version of it. And it almost never works exactly how you want it to work after the first try. But you make it better for the second time through. And did you love it? And so it's been great. Like, the feedback's been awesome. You're, you know, iterating some of it here, and I appreciate you for that. And I think all of us just sit on ideas too long. And what I love about you is, like, okay, you know what?
That's it.
I'm gonna do
it. Actually.
And you give it a shot, and you
Yes,
go and you create,
yes.
and you see what happens. And then you worry about how to make it good and make it better and make it sustainable and make it a part of, like, you could, even if you went through this process, worst case, and you realize, you know what? Making YouTube videos is not for me. I never want to do it again.
No.
Like, if that was the worst case, right? Like, worst case, at least you know, because you did it, as opposed to just thinking about it. Like, maybe I should do that. Maybe I should do this. And maybe, like, that was me. I was just stuck too much in, like, maybe I should do these things. And then a year has gone by and you haven't done any of those things.
Actually, that's
and
what
so,
happened. More than a year ago, I wanted to start YouTube videos. But the thing is, wherever I go, I see those, like, all kinds of music on the videos and editing. And this scares me. I'm like, I'm not that type. So what I'm doing now, I'm trying to make one video, no editing. I just go on, and this is huge, and no editing. And this is just press on the camera and just start talking with the perfect leadership. Help me out that you taught me. Yes.
Yeah, the thought leadership template. Yeah. And listen, that's perfect. So, like, one, you've been wanting to make videos for a year and didn't. And now you have to make 10 in 1 week. It's like, let's go. Yes. Let's go, Samar. Let's go. And then also, I mean, I gave you a template to follow. But if you don't get it perfect on the first time, who cares, right? Like, just keep going. As long as it gets a little bit better every single time. That's the whole part. I mean, I made thousands of videos before I even came up with that template. So you're already, anybody who's in the challenge is already way ahead of me. Like, this is stuff that took me thousands of videos and years to learn. And it's really just giving yourself permission. We don't want to put something out that sucks. And it's given it, like, but why do you expect your first thing to be amazing? It's your first time. You're going to fall as you do your first time. And so giving yourself permission to be imperfect and to create and to share. And when you're doing it with other people, it helps too. Like, when you have a community. So, I mean, having a challenge or part of Mover Makers, or other communities, so that you're not doing it all by yourself, I think really helps too. And as much as I've given you, energy and strategies, you've done the work, so you're doing more than your part to show up and say, hey, I want to show up for myself. I want to show up for my daughters. I want to show up for the mothers of the world here and show them what a strong, powerful thought leader woman looks like. So I'm inspired by the action you're taking. I wouldn't have done what you're doing. Like, if I go back to Evan at the start of his journey, I would have been too afraid to join Mover Makers. I would not have made 10 videos in a week. I would have been too afraid to share. Like, I don't, the whole powerful opinion exercise, I don't have any powerful opinions. I would have judged myself. I would have stopped like at step 1. I wouldn't have even taken up the challenge. So like, you're way ahead of me. Everybody who's doing this, I'm inspired by you guys being at early stages and willing to share and put yourself out there and get the story going. Because it took me like a decade, to get any level of comfort in sharing anything about myself.
But we have you. That's
and
the
so you guys.
But we have you. That you're supporting us. You're making it short for us. I mean, I'm here asking you, what should I do? Shortcut. You do this 1, 2. Like, I don't have to go 1, 2, 3, then 100. No, you show me the way. You give me the template. I'm like, the way. There you go. And this makes it easier. The work on me, but you show me the way, and that's perfect. That's.
All right. Well, teamwork. We're a team. We're doing it together.
The one last thing. Okay, I'm making you do videos, and I want to be there for so many reasons. I want to keep doing that, but I'm not sure if this is the right place for my audience, because my audience they hang out more on Facebook and Instagram probably. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so Facebook organic, now we're going like strategy, right? We're hitting like mindset and energy, but strategy, Facebook organic is terrible. So Facebook is more for community. If you're going to build a group, I'd still rather do it in Discord than Facebook, but or Facebook is great for advertisement, but Facebook organic for content is just terrible. Instagram is still legit. I mean, we're doing this on Instagram right now. It's becoming less relevant every day. A little bit. YouTube is still, for video, long form, YouTube is still number 1. There's nothing close to it. Your mothers are definitely on YouTube for themselves and for their kids. Watching content. A lot of kids, like, the iPad is the babysitter. So mothers are definitely on YouTube. It just depends on the type of content that you want to make. So I would definitely be looking at YouTube and Instagram. I'd be ignoring Facebook unless you're trying to build community. Long form videos on YouTube, Instagram short form, or lives like this. Like, what you could do is coaching. If you had a mother come on and you're going to help her. I didn't know what we're going to talk about today, right? It's like, we show up. Hey, Samara, how you doing? What do you got for me? And then we talk, right? We didn't script this out. There were no like questions set in advance. And so that's what you could do for mothers as well, is have them come on and join you and you help them. And then you could cut the video and turn it into a YouTube video and turn into shorter form content for your Instagram. So YouTube long form, and then Instagram short form and interview or coaching style videos like this.
My business model that I'm running as a business coach, I do use advertising. It's not organically. I do advertising. This is the reach I do by advertising.
So ads are great. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube ads are great. That lead to a business objective. So if it's sign up for your webinar or buy your book or get on your email list or whatever.
Hey, Nina
Carmichael in the house. Hey, Nina. Gotta always give Nina love when she shows up. Yeah, ads are great if you have a business model attached to it. So you're selling a course or a webinar or a book or speaking gigs so great. But it's both. Like, if you get better at organic, that helps with all of your branding and your conversions as well to create. It just takes more time. The benefit of organic, especially on YouTube, it takes more time, but it's ongoing. And then you have to pay to make the content, I guess, at the beginning, pay with money, but also pay with your time. But once you post a video, like we're investing time to do this. And this is, takes half hour of my life, takes half hour of your life. Once that's done and it gets edited, this could be a YouTube video that then lives for the next 10 years. That could continue to generate business if there was a business model attached to it, right? So organic definitely supports paid. When you turn paid off, everything goes away. So as long as there's a business model attached to it, it's fantastic. And organic, a lot of the people who are great at paid are moving to organic so that they can develop a more sustainable long-term model. But they're both great. If you have a model that works right now, paid is fantastic. Keep doing it. Awesome. And now we're building up our brand with organic content so that you don't have to spend as much on paid to get people in.
Absolutely. Makes sense. Oh, that's amazing.
If you want to see me coach another entrepreneur, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
How do you brand something that is challenging for people to understand? You start talking about horses, people think horseback riding, people think Seabiscuit. Don't even bring the horses up.
But what are we selling?